Hey guys, I realized that I did not do a very good job of explaining this video as I was shooting it. You kind of missed the first part of disassembling the lens. So this is just a quick disassembly and declicking of my Minolta mount 28mm f2.8 lens. It is now declicked. That being said, enjoy the video. I've got the front facing off. I've got the front element out. All that was pretty easy. This little aluminum ring, bring it into focus here. That went down inside of here like that. There are these little screws right here that go in this front ring here to keep the focus ring in place, like that. So I'm gonna set that aside, and I've just got to figure out how the rest of this comes apart. It's a really good question. So maybe I have to attack it from the back? No, I don't see anywhere where I would. So I'm wondering, there are, let's see here. There are 3 tiny little screws. I'll bring them really close and show you. There are 3 teeny tiny little screws. There's one right there by that dot, and there's another one there, and another one there. So I'm thinking if I remove all of those, I will be able to okay, so I was correct, and if these little screws right here are removed, they're itty bitty tiny, like that's one of the screws. It's tiny, so I cannot lose those. Remove this guy. There's 2. Ooh, there's 3. Okay. That loosens this ring. I don't know if you can see or not, but the ball bearing is right under the 2.8. So I'll bring it in close here. And whoa. Okay, the ball bearing is actually right there, under the 2.8, right there. So I'm going to see if I can just fish that out of there, and hopefully put this thing back together, declicked. I'm just trying to fish that little bearing out of there so that this lens is officially declicked. Well, it's loose now. As to where, I'm not sure. Seriously, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Little teeny tiny bearing. Teeny tiny. Can't even see it, it's so small. Okay. So there's an alignment hole. Holy God, that's a teeny tiny little screw. I apologize if you can't see what I'm doing very well. It's just so teeny tiny that I have to. Okay. Whoa. Oh my God, this is tiny. I can't even see the mark. This is probably gonna take a few tries. Oh, got that one in. Hey. Whoa. And then snug her down. Alright, so now you can see in there we have a declicked aperture ring. it is nice and smooth. That's glorious. And at some point in the near future, I might take this apart again and re-oil it. But for now, my goal was just to get it declicked, which I have succeeded in. So it's now time to put this back together. There is a little tab right here and a little notch on this aluminum ring right here, and those mesh up together. I'm gonna get rid of this little collar and get this slid on where it goes and get it locked down to infinity. So when that's down, these two pins line up. This little notch here in this black part and that little notch right there in this aluminum ring when it's all the way down to infinity, infinity zoom, and then you take that little piece right there by my index finger and just line it all up, and it should mesh up. There we go. That meshes up perfectly. So now I'm going to put this ring back in, and there are 3 little screws that hold it in. So put you right like that, and then we take our 3 teeny tiny little screws and we gently drop them into place. And once I put this all back together and I get it back on the camera and I make sure that everything's good, you know, I might have to adjust some stuff, but right here I have the front element right here. So we're going to go ahead and just set this guy down in like so. It's kind of particular. There we go. I got it started in there. Beautiful. Okay, I'm just going to get this mostly finger tight. That's good. And then our front face, which has all of our lens info on it. And we're just going to thread that back on like so. Okay, I figured out what it was. This little aluminum ring inside of here that turns like literally very easily is actually a jam nut for the back side of the front face where the threads are on this part. So what I had to do was loosen that up a little bit, that aluminum ring inside of here, so that when I put the front element in, it actually just scoots right past it and snugs down like so, and then the front face just sits on here like that. That is much better. And there we have it. We have our focus ring working beautifully, nice and smooth, and we have our aperture ring that is nice and declicked. So next thing you guys will see, yeah, that's kind of gritty. I need to, I guess, take that apart and clean it some more. One thing I wanted to illustrate real quick about the lens that we just declicked, which you are watching me on right now, is that I can, just with the aperture ring, very smoothly adjust my exposure, which is great. So once I get a focus ring on that, I'll be able to throw a follow focus on it, or one of those little focus crank levers, and be able to change my exposure manually that way, which is super cool because that allows me to manually control literally every aspect of what's going on while recording. So the next step actually is to declick this guy right here. This little guy is my 50mm f1.7, also Minolta, that you guys saw me just film on, but if I tweak this right next to my microphone, you know, that nasty clicking, that's the aperture ring of this lens that's doing that. So that's the next step. I'm not necessarily looking forward to it because it looks pretty pretty in-depth from what I've seen on the internet, but I will keep you guys updated on that, and yeah, thanks for watching.